pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I will call the meeting to order. Is there any changes to the agenda, Jeff? Okay, I need approval for the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Steve moves.
Second.
Dave seconds. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Anyone here for public comment? Okay. Anything that you want pulled from the consent agenda? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Okay, Tom moves to approve.
I'll second.
Steve seconds. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Mike?
Good morning.
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 As far as county employee recognition today, in the Auditor Treasurer's Department, we have Jennifer Haddon. Election support was recognized for service during the 2024 election. And Dorothy Przinski, election support is recognized for service during the 2024 election also. In Highway, we have Logan Nibby. Maintenance 2 began the full-time position on November 12th. In Human Services, Maureen Stanton Alexander, Office Sports Specialist, began the full-time position on November 18th. And in Solid Waste, Grace Lee, Solid Waste Worker, Reuse, is recognized for service from June 28th, 2024 to November 16th, 2024.
All right, thank you, Mike. Jennifer, we have a certificate for you. Thank you, much appreciated. All right, SWCD. Good morning.
Morning. Thanks for having me again so soon. Well, yeah, I guess we just talked with Jeff and Denise and kind of went over the comments that were made during the work session last week and just made an edit to that line to modify it from saying replacing to using it as the primary document. So looking to see if you guys have any other questions or if that's looking good to you guys then.
Tom, you're on that committee. You have any further comments you want to make?
Just that I'll move to approve.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Steve seconds. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks,
Thank you
Jake.
very much.
Okay, let's see. We are at Highway. Morning, Andrea.
Morning.
I just have one item this morning is a quote and approval of the quote for a 2025 felling trailer. This is replacing a current trailer 2007 that we have that is used to haul our backhoe from stationed at the North Shop. Our current trailer is getting pretty used and beat up, rusting, so we're looking to replace on the 2025 budget. But there's a 22-week turnaround, which is why I brought it this early to approve to get it on their list to be able to be using it in 2025. So the quote was for $46,172.08 from Felling Trailers out of Sauk Center, and they were the low quote.
Do you have to put half down then for them to order it?
We have to, once we approve the quote, we encumber that money into our account, but we don't pay anything until it's delivered, or till we get it.
Like 22 weeks is a long time for a
It's
trailer.
long time.
Wow.
We're still seeing that turnaround time from COVID, 22 weeks, 6 months. Areas around there for equipment still. Yeah, but nothing's sped up.
I'll move to approve.
All right, Dave moves.
I'll second.
Steve seconds. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Great. And the only other thing I have is just a quick construction update. 24 boxes in. So the road is back open. It's gravel surface above the box right now, so we just, we have some signs up there notifying the traffic to come drive slow. And also the man trap box is in too, so we're wrapped up for this year, and then next year
Just in time.
I know, just this weekend, it sounds like we're gonna get some snow, but,
I was gonna ask you about signage. I went across it last night, but I didn't see any signs.
oh, okay, yeah, I'll double check with the contractor. They were supposed to put up some, dips and then some gravel surface
Okay,
signs
great.
up, so.
Thank you. I was
I'll
gonna
double
mention
check.
that.
Yeah, that's all I have.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Josh?
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, I got quite a few items for you this morning. So the first item I have under 7A is to review and approve quotes for our 2025 scrap metal recycling. So annually, our department solicits proposals to recycle certain materials at the transfer stations. This includes like our waste tires, scrap metal, e-waste or electronics, batteries, fluorescent tubes. And this, when we do all these requests, they're sent to the specific recycling companies within our region, and we also publish them in the county newspaper. We only received one quote again for scrap metal recycling from Crowing Recycling of Brainerd, which includes our appliances, car batteries, propane cylinders, and scrap metal collected at both transfer stations. In 2023, we recycled 1,487 tons of scrap metal and appliances and 21 tons of batteries from our transfer stations. So again, we solicit quotes from all the big regional scrap metal dealers, and Crowing's typically the only one we get a response from. So we've worked with them for several years. 2024, or this current year, their rate was $84 a ton. 2023 was $61 a ton, and in 2022 was $101 a ton. And the battery rate in 2023 was 10 cents a pound. So their proposal for this year is for 2025, is $79 a ton. And then 12 cents a pound for batteries. So it does swing up and down, a little bit, but they have provided us a really good service, and we've been happy with it. So we could recommend approving the quote from Crowing Recycling for our 2025 scrap metal recycling.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Do they come and pick it up, or do we have to bring it?
We have kind of a nice setup. We built indoor contracts, so at our south station, they stage 2 semi-trailers there. So we fill them and then they pull them. So we kind of alternate between appliances and scrap metal. And at our north station, they come and clean out that site like twice a year. They come up there and clean up our pile. And then they pull appliances in a roll-off regularly. So it, works out really nice. So.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
All right, and then just before we move on to the next one, just a quick note on, so typically we also have a tire contract that we go out with. Last year we approved a 2-year contract for our tires, so we don't have any renewals or contracts this year to deal with our tire contract. And with fluorescents and bulbs that we used to have contracts with, we now just utilize the state contract pricing for the fluorescent bulbs, which has been really nice. So there's a couple vendors we deal with there that pick up our fluorescent bulbs, so we don't have to quote that anymore. So moving on to the next one, is to review and approve quotes for 2025 electronics recycling. We received 3 quotes for our e-waste in 2025. And I kind of go through the updated quote numbers and compare it to the tonnages that we've brought in or sent so far in this calendar year to generate what the total cost estimate would be for 2025. And I factor in things, which the major cost of our e-waste program is transportation and shipping estimates, and kind of bundle all that together and find what we feel is the best quote for these items. In 2023 fiscal year, which we report to the state from July to June, we recycled 115 tons of electronics from our transfer stations. Currently, we have a contract with Universal Recycle Technologies, URT, and I'm estimating our costs so far this year have been about $11,720 based on what we've shipped out. And I've noticed over the last several years that it seems like every year, like let's say over the last 3-4 years, our costs for operating our e-waste programs kind of come down like in half. So a few years ago, we were paying $50,000-$60,000 to dispose of our e-waste. Then it went to like 30, then 20. This year's going to be around 11 or 12. And the low quote that I'd be recommending is to stay with Universal Recycle Technologies out of Janesville, Wisconsin. And this year with their pricing, they're offering free transportation. So we're actually going to look at possibly earning, having earnings of about $4,900 based on this year's numbers. So you can see in bold there on the quote sheet, kind of the with the parentheses, that was money coming back to us. So they appear to be the best value again for 2025. But
So why are prices going down?
I think it's just a bit based on what they're able to recover out of the electronics. So I suppose the precious metal markets are better. And I think I've read some in the waste trade magazines and stuff. I think there's a different technology or different process they're using for recycling e-waste. So I think it's a little bit more efficient for them. So I don't know. I think it's just a competitive market. So you got, these companies have been, competing for our business since we generate a fair amount of that material. So.
Can you give me an example of a non-covered electronic?
I don't have my sheets with, but typically the state has the state e-waste program has different categories, whether it's covered or non-covered, but it's things like your keyboards of your computers, stereo equipment, DVD players, VCR players, DVRs, just this kind of the miscellaneous electronic components like that are either going to be that covered or non-covered. And it just means that it's either covered, that they report the pounds to the state, or it's non-covered, that they don't have to report to the state, but there's still value to that material. So yeah, my recommendation would be to award the contract to Universal Recycling Technologies for 2025 for our e-waste.
I'll move to approve the low quote.
Dave moves.
I'll second.
Steve seconds. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you. And the next item I have is another resolution. Let's see, for our MPCA Greater Minnesota Recycling and Composting Grant Program. So this is another grant that was available to the state that I recently applied for. We haven't heard anything whether we're going to receive the grant or not, but this resolution just states that if we do receive the funding, that I would be authorized to sign the grant agreement and proceed. So I'll have another one similar to this grant on my next agenda item here, but this recycling grant, we're kind of continuing to build in pieces of our overall 9-county project that we can chip away at with this funding. So with this specific grant application, I'll be looking at purchasing, let's see, it was a stacking conveyor to go with our grinder option, and also a mulch colorizer to be able to, some of the mulch that we generate with our horizontal grinder, to be able to market that regionally or locally here as well. And then also this grant would include a fabric building in Park Rapids where we'd be able to kind of control, have some stormwater control for organics, material that we're bringing in there, and then store some of our equipment. So this grant has a 25% match and a $250,000 grant limit. So this is what this resolution is for. Again, I don't know, again, a competitive grant, I don't know what our odds of getting it will be, but just want to have this resolution ready in case we do get selected for funding. So
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, Steve moves. I'll second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Hey, Josh, before you move on, you're talking about colorizing wood waste. How are we gonna store that? Is it gonna be multiple colors, or are you just picking one color, or are you
I-
just gonna wait to see what the market demands?
I don't think we're yet necessarily at that point. I think typically discussing it with like it's the grinder companies that offer that equipment, you know, you typically have a red or a brown and maybe even a black, or even could do natural too, but I think we just have to play with it and see what works the best. And
Well, thank you.
all right, so the next agenda item I have is to approve a resolution similar to the last one. This grant would be for the wood waste utilization grant. Again, with this, we're building off of our 9-county approach and building off the horizontal grinder that we're getting. In this grant, I did also, or I'm gonna include components such as the colorizer again, and then a trommel screen, which would help to get a better quality for our end products, whether it's mulch or shingles or things like that. So this grant is closing here tomorrow, actually. So again, this grant is a $250,000 grant, and this one has a 20% match. So again, just looking for the resolution of support if we are able to receive funding for this grant.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, Steve moves.
Second.
Dave seconds. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And then just at the next meeting, hopefully I'll have another resolution for support, and this will be for, if you remember last year, we applied for a SWIFR grant. That was from the EPA. So it was a federal grant application. We're working together with our whole 9 counties to, again, go after updated funding for that, and that's a $5 million grant process. So we'd look at splitting that, you know, in between all of our 9 counties. Last year when we applied, it was a $4 million cap, so that would increase a little bit. But hopefully I'll have that at the next board meeting to discuss, so. All right, and then I have, the next item I have is 7E, and that's for review and approve quote for horizontal grinder for solid waste. So again, we recently received a $1.5 million organics management grant from the MPCA. Part of this grant includes purchasing a horizontal grinder to manage our wood waste in Hubbard County and our 9-county region. We reviewed 2 different units for the horizontal grinder, and that included doing demonstrations on the different equipment. One of them we were able to bring into Park Rapids and run some material through. Another one we actually were lucky enough, they had equipment operating over by Bedora, so we were able to take staff over there and get a good demonstration of the equipment over there. So after we reviewed machines, compared the quotes, which are being obtained under Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing, we do have a recommendation of which machine we would prefer. Again, this is grant funded from the MPCA Organics Management Grant. The grant has a 25% match, which has been budgeted for our 2025 budget. And the cost and operation of the machines, or the machine will be supported by rental fees that we charge to our 9 partner counties and tipping fees from material coming in. So after, doing a lot of deep diving into these quotes, comparing, doing the demonstrations, reviewing the operation and maintenance costs, and the ease of, operation and maintenance on both machines, our recommendation was to go with quote number 1, which was Roto Chopper, for a B66 track machine. And that price tag was $1,165,788. And the ETA or lead time has been kind of varying a little bit between 8 and 12 weeks. So hopefully we'd have this machine and be ready to start moving forward with this whole project, when spring rolls around. So
So Josh, do you then lose the other dollars, or can you spend them somewhere else?
So the overall grant dollars.
Yeah,
So yeah, this was just one component of that grant, so, you know, I'm working right now for like a organics collection truck, for instance.
okay,
You know, that'll be coming forward, and then we have some other pieces of equipment too, so
Okay.
we'll be fully utilizing whether it's, we do have a lot of in-kind, just match dollars, like
Right.
staff costs
Yep.
with this grant, but we'll be utilizing our full $1.5 million, so.
okay, I'll move to approve, and even though it's the higher quote, Josh gave reasoning why we should accept the higher bid.
I'll second.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
All right, thank you. I think that's all I had, so. Have a good day.
You too.
Scott Parks is on his way
Okay,
to review the request.
should we move to the ECPN?
We can do that.
Probably won't take very long to do that.
No, the ECPN program is money that the county pays to, basically draws down it provides additional revenue and additional matching revenue from a program for the nursing home. We were budgeting somewhere around a $27 rate for ECPN, and the state knocked the cap down to this $15.21 amount for 2025. So that's good. It's gonna affect the county budget, of money we have to set aside for those ECPN payments, but it's bad because it's gonna affect the operating costs of the nursing home. But I think 1521 is approximately what we had approved for 2024, which was kind of mid-range of what we were allowed in 2024, so I'm not sure. You guys could comment, but it feels that the more successful you are, the less help you get, so.
Yeah.
That's,
Doesn't make any sense.
yeah, so this year's rate was $17, next year's rate will be $15.21 if you approve the maximum. And Stephanie has the statute in here, and the application form is ready to go, pending board approval.
I'll move to approve.
All right, Dave moves.
I'll second.
Steve seconds. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Do you want to go into your report?
Yeah, I just have a kind of a laundry list of things. The first is that the job posting for the appointment of a county attorney for the balance of the current term went live yesterday with a deadline of December 6th. And we'll be looking for 2 commissioners who are interested in serving on that interview panel. I'm also probably going to include a county attorney from one of the neighboring counties, just because it's something that we're not gonna have the expertise to be able to determine who has the best credentials for that position. And I would like to schedule those interviews before we get to the Christmas break, so just wondering if 2 people are interested in that, or if they wanna let me know after the meeting.
I would like to be on that.
I would, but if you guys want to, I'll defer to you guys.
I'm just thinking about my time that's available. I'm somewhat restricted, but,
Yeah.
but I would certainly strongly consider it.
It will very likely be the week after AMC, so it'd be the week of the 16th, I'm thinking, is when we try to get those interviews done. The ad was posted on the county website, and it was posted with AMC and the Minnesota County Attorneys Association, which we felt in the short term was the best way to reach people who would understand the Minnesota County Attorney position and Hubbard County's position in that.
So, yeah, if Steve would like to, I mean, Tom or I could fill in if he can't make it, just let
Yeah,
us know.
I'd prefer to approach it that way, yes.
Okay. Then that's what we'll proceed with. Then a few reminders, the meetings to note, department head meeting on the 26th. Denise mentioned by the last rotation of notes we had, she thought it would be Ted this month. So I'm assuming that that's the case unless somebody knows.
Well, that would be perfect for me, because I saw in January, you got 5 weeks, and the last Tuesday is the 5th week. Because the SWCD is always on the 4th Tuesday. so
Oh, okay, okay.
That would be whenever we do have it where I gotta be on that, I go and ask them to adjust me to a later time.
Okay.
But December would work much better for me.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to let Ted know? Or
Yep,
you want-
we
okay.
will.
All right.
We will
thank
do
you.
that. A reminder that 6,700 postcards were sent out to residents within the Walker Ambulance Service District area, and that public meeting is set for 6 o'clock, Monday, November 25th at the Walker Community Center.
Are you going to send out a link for the Zoom?
It's on the postcard.
It's on the
but-
postcard.
Is it on the postcard?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but you won't get a
you won't
postcard.
get it. I mean, I won't get it. Can?
Oh, I can send it to you. I can send it to the commissioners,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I meant.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'd like to join via Zoom.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah, on the I mean, it's, when you send an email, you can send a link. When you send a postcard, you have to send the meeting ID and the password. So
Yeah.
that was included on, and, true to form, I mean, the day that those went out, somebody joined the Zoom meeting, and I get a notice because I'm hosting the meeting, and I'm like, yeah, but the meeting's not gonna start for about 15 days, so.
Is that something we might want to put on the county website as a link, or?
You know, when my recollection from that meeting was is that our communication was gonna be to the people affected in the service district. So we've not put it out publicly.
Okay.
But we did send 6,600, and I know I've gotten a couple of dozen contacts from that mailing, and I know that Josh has as well, and he and I were planning on summarizing those at the end of the week so we could bring those to the meeting.
Sure.
General items, you know, I don't understand, or this is a seasonal home, to absolutely, I don't mind paying a small amount to maintain ambulance service. So I think generally the gamut of responses that we've expected as we were having those conversations. I have more, but we can continue
Okay, so
after Scott.
Scott, why don't you come up and I'm,
You ready?
yep.
Oh, okay. Morning.
Morning.
So we have the one item on our agenda, and it's a project to enhance our radio system. This was kind of brought to light a couple of weeks ago. We've been planning on this for a while, and we were gonna budget for next year, but this project serves twofold. One, it will enhance our recording capabilities for our radio talk groups or channels. And then the second, it will allow for a backup radio in the case that we have any problems with the Armor network. And as luck would have it, a couple weeks ago, we had those problems where the whole northwest part of the state went down. So our radio capabilities were severely limited locally here. So we decided to try and move forward with this project so we could get it done in case we have any more of those issues. So it's a set of radios that will be put in the basement and then also out at individual tower sites, which will allow us to still communicate in case the network were to go down again. So Mid-States out of Fargo is our state vendor. And they've done all the work on our system, built it out, so we received a quote from them. It's all state bid pricing on the equipment. Funding will come from 911 funds. We've worked with Jack, and there's plenty in the fund balance to cover this, both the purchase and the install. So we're just requesting authorization to move forward with the purchase and the installation of this equipment.
So Scott, as a backup, then this will just be located on some of the local towers? And
Yep.
just cover your local area?
Correct.
If the same situation happens again, at least you guys will be able to talk to people in the field?
Yep. So currently, we have one installed at the Nevis site, and then we have a radio in the basement, so we have direct communication from the basement to the Nevis site. But in the situation a couple weeks ago, all of the sites in the Northwest region are in what they call site trunking, where they weren't talking to each other. So we're gonna add a radio at Mantrap and one at Cabacona as well, so we can have direct contact to the 3 tower sites, and that should cover, you know, our needs in the county.
Were you planning to use E911 funds on this next year? The reason I'm asking is, you said it was budgeted for next year, so is that money actually coming out of your budget? Are you taking that back out for next year, or were you planning to use 911 funds next year also?
We were planning to use 911.
Okay, so it doesn't touch your budget
Right,
at all?
no
Okay.
local levy dollars involved
Yeah,
in this
okay.
project, so.
Board wishes?
I'll move to approve.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, so Dave and Steve, further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we had.
Okay, Jeff, back to you.
The last meeting to note is I think Denise sent out a reminder about the County Government 101, and I don't know if anybody was interested in attending. Part of my interest is if somebody from this group is attending, then I would likely attend. And if nobody from this group is, then I probably wouldn't for that one, because winter and spring gets to be pretty busy, but Steve, I know you had talked about it, I don't know if you
Yeah,
made
my
a
plan is
decision.
to attend.
Okay, okay. And then just a couple of updates. We had Justin from ICS here last week, but just to remind you of a couple of upcoming dates. We have a pre-bid meeting Thursday this afternoon. We have the bid openings. So we've hired an architect and a construction manager, but we haven't hired the contractors who are gonna do the work. So this development and bid preparation up to this point has been with those two groups. We'll hold the bid opening on 12/12, and then on 12/17, the recommendations from that bid opening will come to the board for final approval. So that's just a reminder of the dates that Justin shared with you last week. Anybody, you guys are welcome to attend either of those meetings if you want to. They're not terribly interesting, but a necessary part of the process. Bobby and I will be there. Bobby will probably be doing, escorting people around so that they can actually see the site and the working conditions. That's what the pre-bid meeting is, for people to understand the scope and the work site. And then, the bid opening is largely handled by ICS, but I will be attending as the county representative, but any of you are welcome to attend. And then, like I said, the bid awards will be at the board meeting on 12/17. I think that was my list.
Okay. Did anybody go to the meeting last night?
Yes, I did.
Steve did, okay. So do you want to start on committee reports?
Yeah, that's the only one I would have.
Okay.
There was really nothing too extravagant that we talked about. I just informed them of the HRA EDA resolutions that the county needs to accept, whether they're opting in or opting out. I just updated people on the ambulance district meeting and the progress, and there was a fair amount of discussion about that. I guess it was more people voicing their concern that people need to be at the meeting to speak their mind, to get, and to think about all the options that are available that will be proposed. That's really about it.
Okay, Tom, do you want to go next?
Well, the only one that I had was that Mental Health Board, Local Advisory Committee. They have really good attendance at the drop-in center, and they give a summary on that, but attendance is low of members on the LAC committee, and so most of the discussion was, how to get more people that go to the drop-in center involved in the committee. So they came up with some pamphlets to hang around. If anybody who's receiving mental health care and want to be involved with other people on a committee like this, let them know, because they need more members.
Okay. Do you have anything?
I have nothing this week except, the Canvas Committee met and looked over all the election stuff, so that went fine.
Okay. And I'm gonna wait, seeing as how my voice isn't very good, so. Excuse me. So, let's see, is there anything else? That's it. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay. Tom and Steve, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.